They called it emotional work, a phrase that sounded clean, respectable, like office labor or customer service. But what they really meant was crying on demand. I remember the man behind the desk, sliding that contract toward me. He didn't even look up when I signed. Nobody ever does. They said all I had to do was cry when everyone else did. No questions, no background checks. Just show up, look sorry, and leave when it was over. It didn't sound cruel at the time. It sounded simple. And simple was something I could afford. The hallway outside the office smelled like old paper and dust. I held the envelope they'd given me. 2 days' wages for a single hour. Enough to pay rent, enough to breathe for one more week. Out on the street, I stood for a moment, watching cars move slowly through the afternoon light. People were everywhere, all of them looking like they belonged somewhere. Maybe that's why I took the job, because for once, I wanted to belong to something, even if it was grief. The first ceremony was small, a wooden casket, a few chairs, the faint smell of lilies. I sat in the back row, head lowered, eyes half closed. When the first sob broke the silence, I followed it, like an echo trained to respond. Afterward, outside, sunlight filtered through the trees. People hugged, whispered, drifted away in pairs. No one noticed me. That's when I realized grief is crowded, but it's lonely too. Days blurred together after that. Each morning started with the same silence, the same cold coffee, and a note on the table with a time and an address. At the company office, the man would pin up new names like train schedules. Funeral at 10, payment by 3. Death, it seemed, ran on time. In the dressing room, I learned to fix my veil without looking at myself in the mirror. Mirrors are honest things. They don't lie to make you comfortable. So I stopped meeting their gaze. Some ceremonies were long. Others ended before my tears did. I'd sometimes think of my mother during them, not because she was gone, but because I hadn't seen her in years. I'd start crying for real, and the job would thank me for it. On the bus home, I'd stare out the window, watching reflections move across glass like passing ghosts. People probably thought I was one of the mourners, and maybe I was. Payment came in small envelopes, always unmarked. They felt heavier than they should have. Money has a way of doing that, weighing you down even when you're trying to move on. At night, I'd sit by the window, lights flickering in the distance, and tell myself I was helping people, helping them cry when they didn't know how, helping them feel less alone. Lies sound better when you whisper them to yourself. The record player would spin slowly, scratches mixing with the hum of the city outside. After a funeral, silence isn't empty. It's crowded with everything you don't say out loud. Then came the call that changed everything. A voice on the phone said, "Tomorrow, small service." Young woman, something in the tone felt different, softer, almost careful. That morning, the sky was gray and still. I arrived early, walking past rows of flowers that all smelled the same. White, too white. Inside, the crowd was quiet. No music, no prayers, just the sound of a father breathing through his grief, and me sitting close enough to hear it. He turned slightly, looked at me, and for a second I thought he knew who I was. But then he smiled, a small, broken kind of smile, and whispered something I couldn't quite catch. He told me his daughter used to laugh too loudly, that she'd fill the house with noise, and now he couldn't stand how quiet it had become. I nodded, because that's what I was paid to do, to listen, to exist quietly beside loss. But then it happened. That tightness in the chest that no script prepares you for. I looked at the flowers, the photographs, the trembling of his hands, and the tears came before I could control them. This time not for him, for me. After the ceremony, he thanked me, said I was one of her closest friends, said she would have been happy I came. I tried to speak, but nothing came out. Some lies are too heavy to move past your throat. Outside, wind carried the smell of wet earth. Everyone left in clusters, coats brushing against one another. I stayed until the last car drove away. The silence that followed felt like judgment. On the walk home, I kept seeing his face every time I blinked. Not his grief, his trust. That's what broke me. I'd been selling sincerity, and that day, I realized the price wasn't worth paying anymore. I sat on a park bench near my street, watching strangers hurry past with their own small sorrows. Maybe everyone hires someone in some way to feel for them. That day, I decided I wouldn't be one of them again. The next morning, I walked back to the company office. Same wooden door, same man behind the desk. I placed the envelope and my ID card on the table. Didn't explain a thing. He looked at me, then at the money. Didn't touch it. Maybe he'd seen it before. That look in someone's eyes when the work finally gets too real. Back home, I folded the black veil and tucked it into a drawer. It felt strange, like burying a version of myself. The one who could cry without meaning it. From the window, the street looked calm. People walking, a newspaper boy shouting headlines. Life is going on exactly as it did before. It's cruel how ordinary the world stays after you change. I tore the contract that night. 2 pages, 1 clean rip. No ceremony, no tears. Just quiet. I used to cry for strangers, for rent, for survival, for nothing at all. That morning, I finally cried for myself.